What's up, people? Welcome back to the channel. Okay, so the OTS leaks are out. I got little thing pulled up right here, and yeah, I'm looking at this, and it's pretty. Oh, I'm feeling dumb like it's mid. This is very much not mid. This is pretty cool. Like, if this is everything we're getting, like, bam, this is this is like really good. I like that we got the turtle, a lot of this stuff. But something that has been happening was there's been a huge hit into the cashier Fenrir, and that surprised the heck out of me. Like when I first saw this, I was like, whoa, hold up, what's going on here? All right, guys, let's go ahead and go on and get into the market. If you like what's going on here, please feel free to like and subscribe. Leave a like down below, leave a comment if you have a question, a comment, anything. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Cashier Fenrir is just had a big old crash, but this is very much simply because of the ultimate rare, and usually the ultimate rare doesn't necessarily start crashing prices because it's actually harder to get that ultimate rare. So it isn't like, it isn't like if it got reprinted, in a tin or a reprint set to where there's more available. There are more in the pool, but it's going to be a more expensive, harder to get version. So this is really interesting to see in this kind of crash. Like, honestly, it's just probably people just knowing that, just people knowing they're going to play the deck, so they're like, screw it, I might as well just sell these to get this. I don't really know exactly what's going on, going on in some people's head. Maybe people are just kind of gonna shy away, like, maybe I don't even want to deal with it, because there are a couple pre-sales that are coming up that are pretty crazy. But at the same time, yeah, like I said, that's neither here or there. What's actually here is this price right here. We're looking at Fenrir's $52, $51, $52, $53. You know what? If you're thinking about playing Kashtira and you were holding off, this is probably one of the few times you actually lucked out, and holding out on these cards at this late in the game was actually beneficial. Because right now, if you want to play Kashtira and you don't care about rarity, go ahead and drop your money right now and get them for this price, because they're probably going to shoot back up. They're most likely going to be like, people are probably, getting rid of them. They're like, oh, let's get rid of this so I could get, I could either get this deck I want to play, or maybe they want to get the ultimate rare. Go and just go and take advantage if you really want to play the deck. If you were already going to spend the freaking like 210, 230 it was going to cost to get the set, you might as well just, go ahead and commit to the 150 at this point. So yeah, that's just a little thing there. If you want to, go ahead and get it, because it's probably not going to get any kind of, this is not going to get a reprint that's going to bring the price down for a very long time. Cashier Unicorn has not moved at price at all. I kind of brought it up because I thought, oh, maybe people were going to go crazy. No, it's still, 22, 23. This is still, still in the $23 to $25 price point. So it is just the Fenrir, because because everyone knows that, I pretty much confirmed that we're going to get it the alternate rare, so it's just the Fenrir going down. Sprite Blue is also confirmed to be an ultimate rare right here. It's still in Sprite Blue right there. Yeah, so Sprite Blue was considered it is an ultimate rare, and the price is starting. Well, this is actually around the price. I think I covered it last time when it was around the 36 to 40 range, but it's starting to actually come back down, because it was starting to kind of creep up into, like, the first edition was 50. It was $45 to $50, but now it's starting to creep down, and it's starting to hit that that 39 point. I wouldn't be surprised if this card goes to like 30, because not only is it not the best deck, it is one of the top decks. Sprite is really good, but not only is it not the quote unquote best deck, especially with Kashtira coming in, but you have the ban list, to where the ban list is probably going to very much favor Kashtira. Like, there's no way freaking, like Konami in America is not gonna sit there and be like, well, let's bring down the power of Cashier to make it fair. No, they're gonna do what they always do. They're gonna sit there and hit your elements and Sprite, and then, probably, like, Flu, and maybe even Branded, and hit some other obscure strategies and claim that this was the big thing that people were gonna use, and then Cashier's gonna come in and just take everything over. So yeah, a lot of people just kind of want to avoid that. Like, it's really obvious that that's what's going to happen. If it doesn't get hit, then this will shoot up. I'm telling you, it will very much shoot up. But yeah, for now, it's kind of started to come down. If you were on the fence with this, I'd probably wait a little bit, because maybe it could even drop to like, you know, drop kind of even lower to 30. And when they're in the 30 range, I'd be a little more comfortable picking these up. Abyss Abyss Actor Curtain Raiser. I covered this when it was at $5, and I saw that it got like a common reprint. Was it a common? Yeah, I got a common reprint. So that is actually really good because like I don't want to say for no reason. This is a really good like pendulum starter. I remember when I ran like a pendulum magician deck for a while. And like it was just so like when you saw this in your hand, you knew you were going off because it was just like an instant. It was an instant pendulum monster, especially if you had this and then you had the freaking dragon in your hand. It was like you just knew you were going off with that deck. So I really like seeing this reprinted because like even pendulum days, like pendulum decks nowadays, really need to run this card to extend. So I'm glad to see that gain a reprint. We got the Mistress of the Gnomes. This is one that got a lot of hype because of Sprite. It essentially like changes their levels, and then basically the whole idea with this card was if Sprite locked you into like level / rank 2 and you activated this and you knocked everything up a level, it would essentially, yeah, is it up or down? I keep forgetting. I'm pretty sure it's up a level. Player's hand, let's see. No. Oh yes, reduce the levels of all monsters in each player hand by 1. So essentially like if your opponent went and they, you know, and they activated gigantic sprite, you would essentially, you know, you could essentially lock them out from continuing playing, or you can even stop them from playing in general because you could basically turn all their level 2 monsters into level 1, and that'll basically make it impossible for them to go into pretty much almost their entire deck. So this was a really cool card to kind of get a reprint. They're very expensive. Like these were at the $5. These were going for $5. You know, like, it doesn't matter which copy. They're both $5. But I'm glad to see that this also got a reprint. You know, it says 45 right here, but just wait. Once they get a reprint, they'll be super cheap. Sacred Sword of the Seven Stars. This is another card that I feel dumb. I'm looking here and I'm like, man, I posted all my supers, but I know I have some rares of these, and I totally forgot. Maybe I might kind of jump in and throw some. Maybe I might be able to get some sales on this, but this right here was going up for a while. It was actually in the $3 range. I can't believe it. I wasn't completely aware. I thought only the super rares were being worth money, but no. This card right here is also getting a reprint in the OTS, and yeah, even the rare was actually worth money. The common was worth $1. So yeah, this card could be going down to like 50 cents. Very much used in not only in like past Dragon Lore style formats, but Cashier was really going to take advantage of this. So I'm really glad to see that this was able to get a reprint before all that. We got started to get crazy. Gishki Abyss. This was I noticed. So I noticed right here in the reprints that you have these you have these Gishki cards, and I was just kind of I was just like surprised. I was like, well, why didn't they reprint Abyss? I think Abyss was already like one of the ones, like it was like the next most expensive one under the spells, I believe, because I think it was like Mind August that was actually that was like really, or Gus Kraken. I forgot which one was going up, but I think after that was a spell, and then after that it was Gishki Abyss. So I don't know why they didn't throw it in there, but it only has 2 printing, one being, you know, the dual terminal one. So yeah, this thing is super expensive for just no reason. Damage first set for 15, then you get near mints 24, 26. This is a $25 to $30 card. It is freaking insane. Like the whole Gishki Sprite deck, it is a thing. Like I understand that, like, you know, like the see, this is what I'm talking about. Yugioh. You just never know. Sometimes the stupidest, most unknown, you know, BS random deck, all of a sudden, because they release something like Sprite, and even though Sprite's not the best deck, you still get these like random crazy combos. So that's something I do love about Yu-Gi-Oh! But also you gotta watch out, because sometimes you're like, you know, I'll just sell my bulk, and then you end up having like 4 of these in there when they're worth like 10, 15 cents, and then 2 months later, all of a sudden they're freaking worth like 15 to freaking $30. So that's always something that something I love about Yu-Gi-Oh! But then, you know, like sometimes you're like, man, it sucks when it happens to you. Ling Garibo. So this is the card that I went over in my last video about, you know, cards that I'm choosing to invest in. I kind of realized I don't think I ever talked about this card on the market. It does have a reprint, the super rare. It's not worth anything. It's worth like 20 to 25 cents. If you want to get like, you know, maybe 2 or 3 sets of them, I'd probably want to pick them up, especially at that 25-cent price point. But the ultra rare from where's the ultra rare come from? Ignition Assault. Yeah, ultra rare. See these right here. You got unlimited for 2, 3 with the shipping. 329 with the shipping. And then once you get a first edition, it's pretty much like same thing, 350, probably kind of going to the $4 range. So it's like this right here to get a first ed copy is like $3 to $4, which is pretty interesting. Like I really like the fact that you're able to. It just says when your opponent activates the trap card, quick effect, tribute this card, and negate that card's effect. There's so many situations where this will just prevent you from just losing outright to not only like impermanence or like any kind of floodgate, but evenly matched. Like I really like the idea of like, hey, if you just have like a straggling little, Cyberus monster just at the end of your combo, just hanging on your coattails, go ahead and just like, as long as it's level 4 or lower, exchange that thing in for a Lingaribo, and all of a sudden, so many different cards that you thought you had a side deck against now become taken care of by one card, and it's I just like it because it's like you just grab it from the extra deck as long as your combo allows it. So it's not like not every deck could use it, but there are decks that could take advantage of it, especially with like Math Mech, where you do all these big old crazy like wombo combos and you get this negate and this and that out, but then you just like flat out end up losing to like evenly match. So yeah. So this is something that I really do like that could have some potential in the meta. Infinite and permanent. So so out of all the hand traps that are that I guess like because like right now hand traps are really taking a back seat unless you're running the dimensional shifter. Really, there's not really a single hand trap that can just shut everything down. You usually need 2 or 3 hand traps. Most of the time 2 will do the job, but you also required to know the choke points and also understand what effects to hit, because sometimes a lot of people think that, man, I had 2 hand traps and I still lost the duel. Well, it's because you used your hand traps at the wrong time. Like, they had 5 cards in their hand and you asked the first card they used to freaking search. Like, that's really not what you want to do, especially when you have 2 hand traps. You rather wait till they're in certain situations where you know that if I leave this card in the field, it won't be able to activate this card. There's a lot of times where you ash something or you imperm something, but then they're able to use that as like, they have more cards in their hand, or that they have a card that's able to tribute a monster or send a card to the graveyard. So it's kind of like, so I guess I don't know, I'm about, see, this is my problem. I get on these like random ass rants. I guess the whole thing, what I'm saying, really isn't like there isn't really one single hand trap that could really take down an entire deck unless it's Dimensional Shifter, just because it just gets rid of the graveyard. Getting rid of the graveyard takes care of a lot of different things. But if an Impermanence is a hand trap that I really do feel like could kind of creep back into the meta, especially because if you use it against a Kashtira monster and you leave it on the field, it it shuts down their ability to get like another Kashtira monster, because they have to control no monsters to get to keep specials them by their own effect, but also, or at least stop getting the Fenrir out. But also, like, it won't let them activate their other card. I forgot the name of it. It's a spell card, like the continuous one that lets you summon a Kashtira if you don't have one. So it's like, so like essentially like hitting them with impermanence and on a Kashtira, especially the Fenrir, not only will it stop you from losing your sub, but sometimes like that's kind of like enough. Or especially hitting an impermanence on a unicorn, although that won't just outright stop them. Sometimes just stopping that unicorn search will stop them from being able to like kind of go the extra mile, and then they'll just either end on like a number 79, or they'll end up on the freaking Kashtira XYZ. So like this is just something that I want to keep an eye on. If for some reason you don't have any, try to get them. They're $7 right now. You get these super rares for really, really low. I'd advocate to get these super rares. They're $7, and I'll probably want to just pick them up. Alright, and the last card I want to talk about is number 28, Titanic Moth. This is another rank 7 monster that just started to go up because of Kashtira. But something that this does it does help with. See, if you control other monsters, this card can attack directly, but when it does so using its effect, the battle damage inflicted to your opponent is half. When this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can attach 1x0 for this card, inflict 500 damage to your opponent for each card in their hand. So it's like you could go in and kind of steal games by just getting that little extra damage in. It'll be half, but then if they have 3 or 4 cards in their hand, they're taking an extra 2k to 15 or 2k. So you get them right now. You got some Italians, but you get them for about $3.98 to $4. This is kind of a little bit random because it isn't like doesn't have any protection, doesn't have anything like that, but it's still a $4 card. If you have some of these, I would go ahead and just post them up. Alright guys, that's gonna be it. Now this, yep. Yeah, I did it again. I thought I had some kind of announcement. I always kind of do that, 'cause like I said, I'm always doing a million things at once. But that's it, guys. Like I said, if you like what's going on, please like and subscribe, leave a comment down below and all that cool stuff. If not, peace out, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.